like to welcome everybody out to our February 17th meeting of the Lake Dallas Independent School District Board of Trustees. We do have a quorum established as all members are present. If you would, please join the board in a moment of silence. Thank you very much. And our next item is our Pledge of Allegiance, and that will be led by some students from Lake Dallas High School Choir. If y'all would come forward and help us out with that. Appreciate the help with that. Our next items are going to be our student and staff reports and recognition, the first of which is the Lake Dallas High School All-Star Choir placements. And we're going to hear from Laura Jenkins, the Lake Dallas High School Choir Director.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll speak louder. It was the 10-year anniversary of the culmination of the SSC choir, and these students handled themselves beautifully. In fact, in something I've never seen in 20 years, after the performance was over, we were talking and taking pictures, and a man introduced himself to me. He said that he was the choir director at Blinn College, and he had been scouting during the rehearsals, and he offered Aiden and Olivia partial scholarships on the spot. So just what an adventure. These kids have worked so hard and for so long. And even more amazing is both of them have qualified for state twice in the last month. So January 11th was their all-state TMEA audition where they qualified for the TMEA choir. And then they had UIL Solo and Ensemble where both of them also qualified for state. So these are two-time state qualifiers, Olivia and Aiden. So if you'll look over here, you'll see the placements for these kiddos. Aiden Arredondo, senior bass student, he got first chair at the region audition, second chair pre-area, fifth chair at the area audition. And then Olivia got third chair at the region audition, fifth chair pre-area, and second chair at area. The next slide tells a little bit about the process that I was speaking about. This is the very first time, absolutely, and it's big history for us. That next slide talks about just the history of TMEA and how this process works, and bless you, and all of the auditions that these kiddos go through and the hard work that they did. Like I said, they started at Texas Women's University in July. We went to a Sunnyvale clinic. We went to a clinic at Ponder, and they had 3 sets of auditions, and I could not be more proud. And they represented this district beautifully in San Antonio this weekend. So congratulations to these amazing kiddos.
All right, we'll get some pictures with y'all in a little bit. All right, our next item is Lake Dallas Elementary and Lake Dallas Middle School PTA Art Reflections Contest winners. We're going to hear from Sarah Schmidt from Lake Dallas Elementary And yay! And Jessica Risenhoover from Lake Dallas Middle School.
Hi, oh my gosh, hi you guys, how are you? I'm Sarah Schmidt from Lake Dallas Elementary. I get to be the librarian there. I'm going to read from the slide now. Okay, it says, good evening to our school board and the members of the Lake Dallas ISD community. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to share about and honor the students who participated in the PTA Reflections program this year. The PTA Reflections program is an opportunity for students to express their thoughts through artistic means and celebrate student creativity. This year's competition theme was Accepting Imperfection.
So from Lake Dallas Middle School, we had 48 entries submitted to the PTA Reflections contest. This is the most amount of entries we've had ever. And our students competed across 3 different categories: visual arts, photography, and music composition. Our amazing PTA selected 6 qualified judges to help us score the student artwork, and we handed out awards for participation, honorable mentions. We also handed out awards of merit and awards of excellence. So the next couple of slides have some photos of those awards. So the students who are represented here are our students who moved on kind of to that next level, but a couple more slides just of our photos from at school. We wanted to represent all of our students and their awards and their smiling faces. So of the 48 entries, 11 of our students' work advanced to the next level of judging with the state for Region 11. Those students are here with us right now. 8 of them advanced in visual arts, 2 of them advanced in photography, and then 1 advanced in music composition. Of the students who competed at Region 11, 3 students from Lake Dallas Middle School have moved on and are currently competing at the state level. So we're super proud of all of these students. We did want to share the artworks with you of the students who moved on to Region 11, as well as our 3 state competitors. So on the next slide, oh, those are our state, the people who moved on to Region 11. Not everyone could be here tonight, so we wanted to have their photos up. And then, there we go. Okay, so Joy M. in visual arts moved on to Region 11. We have Lex Baker Busson, who moved on for photography. And then Mason Weinberg also moved on for visual arts. Hayden Wade moved on for visual arts with the digital piece there. Emma Quinn moved on for visual arts as well. And then Jamie Harper moved on this slide. Chase Baker moved on for visual arts, and Alexia Reyna also moved on to Region 11 for visual arts. And then our 3 state competitors, Tyson Emmons moved on in the music composition category. Ayla Murray moved on to state in our visual arts category, and then Lillian Houghton moved on for photography in the in the photography category for state. So let's give them a round of applause.
Oh my gosh, you guys are fantastic. That's so many. Okay, so this was our first year at Lake Dallas. We had 14 entries, which is really good for us. And we competed in visual arts and photography. So if you'll go to the next slide. Of the 14 entries, 5 advanced on to the next level of judging, 3 in visual arts, 2 in photography. And we have 4 that are going on to state. So we are super, super excited for them. We have, oh my gosh, brother and sister, Colin Overstreet for visual arts, and Colby Overstreet, our kindergartner, for visual arts as well. We have Jonathan M., who is the brother of Joy. Where is Joy? Over there, yes. Kara Mooring with visual arts, and Lincoln Cortez with photography. And that rounds ours. We're up. Do you have anything else to say? It was super fun. If we can get everyone else involved next year, all the schools, that would be great. So thank you.
Good job, everyone. Those are awesome. And we're going to get pictures with y'all later, too, just shortly. All right, our next report is, or recognition, is the Denko Area 911 Art Contest winners. We're going to hear from Jennifer Bryant from Shady Shores. Hi.
Hi, good evening, President Stacy, Board of Trustees, Dr. Brown, thank you for having us, and thank you for allowing me the great honor of recognizing two outstanding, talented artists from Shady Shores Elementary. Sasha, do you want to come up? Branson, do you want to come up? Yeah, come on. All right, is this thing on? Let's see. Yes, all right. As you can see, we recognize Sasha and Branson at our morning assembly. They were our winners in the Denko Area 911 Art Contest. And so just a little bit about the art contest. They were hosting an art contest for elementary school-age students. They were tasked with drawing a picture of a situation where someone needed help and called 911. They were directed to think about how the 911 responders, like firefighters, paramedics, or police officers, come to the rescue. Okay, so Sasha, do you want to show your picture real quick? So there were 32 entries in the Denko area, and only 12 winners were selected. And so Sasha is displayed in the month of January. Do you want to tell them a little bit about your picture? No? Okay, I'll talk about it. So if you look very closely, there is a beautiful house, and there's a robber, and the police come to help. And then Branson's is it November? Do I remember right? Yes. All right. And then his is some amazing bank robbers in stripes, and they are being arrested by the police as they were trying to rob the bank. Did I get it right? You got it? So we loved that the Denko 911 area came and presented them in front of our entire school at our morning assembly, and we're really proud of their amazing talent and can't wait to see what they do moving forward. So do y'all have any questions?
I don't think we do. We're good.
Okay. Thank
That's
you
a good
very
job,
much.
y'all.
Awesome job.
I will say, and I think I can speak for Bruce and Chief Springer, that we like when the bad guys wear stripes and odd clothes. It makes it easy to identify them. Okay. All right, now we're going to do pictures with you guys. So the first group that was up, we're going to do you first, the second group, and then the last group. All right. Okay, our last recognition is the January and February Teachers and Employees of the Month. Dr. Brown.
Yes, sir. We are honoring our January and February. January, there were snow days, so we didn't get to honor them at last month's board meeting. But during executive session, we'll play that video, and their faces have all been plastered all over social media to celebrate them.
All right, our next item is the executive session. The open session of the meeting will adjourn. The Board of Trustees will reconvene in executive session pursuant to one or more of the sections of the Texas Open Meetings Act. Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. The Board of Trustees will reconvene in open session to take any final action, decision, or vote on a matter deliberated in executive session, and it is 5:47. There we go. Thanks, DJ. It is 7:07, and we are back in. We're back in regular session. We have nobody signed up for public comments, so we'll move on to our information items. The first of which is the strategic plan priority 2 discussion with Dr. Kelly O'Sullivan, our deputy superintendent. How are you today? I'm doing all right. Is your mic on?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right, you're free to speak.
All right. Well, good evening, President Stacy, Dr. Brown, and members of the board. We're going to have a review over priority 2. And priority 2, just for everyone to remember, is over faculty and staff engagement. We've made a commitment to set baselines, set measures and targets, and measure those throughout the year, the opportunities that our faculty and staff have to engage and participate within the district and their campuses. So even though there are 3 indicators, including recruitment and retention, professional development, and engagement and culture, tonight we're going to focus on professional development and engagement and culture. A few board meetings back, Ms. Landrum and I gave an update on the recruitment and retention piece. And so this is a listing of current district committees and programs that our teachers and staff have an opportunity and are really encouraged to participate in. Under priority 2, leadership development, collaboration, and participation are focus areas within professional development and engagement. And so we can see these committees that are listed. There's a wide range from calendar to curriculum to safety to health and wellness. And so our staff and our teachers have the opportunity to engage, give feedback, provide guidance and recommendations to the district and to you as we move forward and make decisions for Lake Dallas, as well as participate in leadership programs that we offer. So as we look at each of these committees, we went ahead and added the number of participants that we have currently. And so we see currently there are 226 teachers and staff that are involved and participate in the committees and the leadership programs at the district level. And they are providing that decision-making and input process. Now looking at the campus, we have committees at all 5 campuses, very similar at the elementary, the middle, and the high schools. And again, teachers and staff provide input, feedback, guidance, and they range from a wide range of tenure, grade levels, content areas, and specialties. And the committees guide, they set expectations, and they support the campus culture and the district improvement plan and goals. And again, these numbers are represented for each campus. So if we take these and we multiplied by the number of campuses that have these committees on them, it's a total of 305 teachers and staff that currently participate on campus committees and programs. And so when we think out of approximately 560 staff members, 280 being teachers, and with the 226 teachers and staff and then the 305, that is a strong participation rate, and we realize that some are on multiple committees. But again, when we look across the span of the committees and the programs that are in place, it is a wide range of experience in teachers and expertise that come and help provide that direction and that focus and the input as we move forward. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments for Dr. O'Sullivan? Surprisingly, no.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Our next item is Lake City's Education Foundation update, and we'll be hearing from Executive Director of HR, there we go, Carla Landrum.
Thank you. Good evening, President Stacy, Dr. Brown, and board. I'm joined tonight by LCEF President Jerry Blazewick as we give you an annual update on the workings of the Lake Cities Education Foundation. Thought I'd start with just giving you the current list of directors. And I wanted to just point out those with asterisks. Dr. Brown, Mr. Tucker, and I serve as ex officio members of the Lake Cities Education Foundation Board. So we're essentially liaisons between the work of the foundation and the needs of the district. The current financials, the end of year assets at end of year 2024 total nearly $3 million. In fact, for January, it has surpassed $3 million, with $1.8 million of that being designated for endowments. And I wanted to point out that regarding the foundation's investments guidelines, when an endowment is established, the principal is never distributed. So the foundation operates on a premise of 5% return on investment. So each endowment award total, be it a scholarship or a grant, is 5% of the total raised and or donated towards that endowment. This slide is a summary of the LCEF's annual events. In May, we have our scholarship awards reception. June, our memorial golf tournament. November is the annual gala and auction. And January, of course, is the prize patrol. In May 2024, the Lake Cities Education Foundation awarded 46 scholarships totaling $80,150. Since 2001, which was the inception of the Education Foundation, $791,050 in scholarships has been awarded to 494 Lake Dallas High School students. This May, we expect to award another $82,000 in scholarships. And I did want to point out that the scholarship application deadline is March 14th, so please pass the word. The application is located on the LCEF website, which is lakecitiesed.com. It's also on our Facebook page. It's been shared on the LDISD social accounts, thanks to Taylor Poston, as well as the LDHS academic advisors to getting the word out. These next two slides list the 46 recipients of last year's scholarships. You can see the number of endowed scholarships that we have. And I did want to point out to you the Josephine Sterling Hughes scholarships at the end. They were made available because we had once again applied for and received the Josephine Sterling Hughes grant. And that award helped to provide $17,500 in scholarships and $17,500 in teacher grants. And we're honored to have received again the grant this year, which is reflected in the total expected scholarship awards. One of our major fundraisers is the annual Memorial Golf Tournament. It was held last year, June 3rd, 2024, at Oakmont Country Club. There were 2 flights with 188 golfers. The total raised was $96,205, and the net proceeds, according to our treasurer, was $52,650.32. Gotta make sure we accurately report that. And just some pictures from that very fun event. This event requires lots of volunteers, golfers, and sponsors to pull it off, and we are incredibly grateful for all the support that we receive. Our other major fundraiser is the annual gala and auction. It was held November 6, 2024 at Embassy Suites. There were 353 in attendance. Our gross proceeds were $120,954.05, and our year-to-date net income is $64,390.96. You can see that both fundraisers are incredibly expensive events to put on, and the costs have risen considerably over the last 24 years. But I do think it's a testament to the hard work of the Foundation Board and their fundraising efforts that the net income of these events has kept pace with or even surpassed the increased expenses. And just some pictures from that event as well. The grants 2024-2025, the prize patrol was held Friday, January 17th, 2025. The Lake Cities Education Foundation awarded 16 teacher grants totaling $53,500. and awarded since 2001 $508,719.25 to teachers and staff members of Lake Dallas ISD. I think the Prize Patrol is one of my favorite events. I hope you'll make plans to join us on May 14th for our scholarship awards reception. Also, there's some big news for the golf tournament. This year's tournament will be held at Cowboys Golf Course in Grapevine. There will only be one flight this year, so I have a feeling that team spots will go fast. So if that's something that interests you, be sure and look out for our sign up. And we have a date for the gala. It's going to be Wednesday, November 5th, again at Embassy Suites. So please mark your calendars and plan to join us for these events. I do want to say thank you all for your continued support of the Lake Cities Education Foundation. On behalf of the LCEF Board of Directors, I wish to extend our sincerest appreciation for all that you do for the students and the staff of Lake Dallas ISD. Any questions?
Thank you very much, Carla. Does anybody have any questions or comments? I think we'd be remiss if we didn't hear from Mr. Blazook, the president, for...
Happy President's Day.
Yeah, that's right. From you to me, right?
Perfect timing.
He caught me. He caught me. Sure.
I would speak longer, but y'all were an executive.
I'm aware of that. Thank you. We will swiftly move on to our next item, which is Lake Dallas ISD Police Department update from Chief Chad Springer. Greetings, Chief Springer.
Greetings. Good evening, President Stacy, members of the board, Dr. Brown. I've got a brief update on the status of the police department. So we are working on finalizing the onboarding for the sergeant. Hopefully, if all goes well, he'll be starting with us very soon. And we'll do a ceremonial badge pinning on him at the next board meeting, and everybody gets to meet him and go from there. In regards to the police department, we got set up with the report management system through Denton County, the computer-aided dispatch system through Denton County as well. That's tied to Lake Dallas PD, so there's no cost to the district for having this resource, which is very good. Been able to get set up for our national incident-based reporting system, so we're able to report all of our reports and stuff to the FBI Uniform Crime Reporting System, so they can keep up with that. All state requirements have been met. Some of those are the fingerprinting, racial profiling reports, all of the policies. They came out with a bunch of new policies that have to be implemented by a certain date. Some of those took effect in last June. Another round is taking effect this coming June. Because we set up with Lexipol, those are already in place and we're already compliant with what legislation is requiring. Duty equipment is coming in. We've got the cameras, tasers are all set up. We'll have to go through training. We're going to do that this summer. Once everybody is hired, then we'll go through one certification training and go from there. Regarding police officers, we are going to open these positions up on March 3rd. We will be advertising on anywhere that we can put it to try to get as many applications as possible. The Texas School District Police Chiefs Association posts jobs. We'll use social media, use Taylor to push it out across our social media as well, so members of the community that are eligible can see it and have the opportunity. The goal is to have the conditional job offers the 1st of June, so that way we can get them size for the uniforms, fitted for their vests and all that stuff, so they'll be ready to go by August. Working on the police calendar, it's going to be a little bit different than what some of the other staff calendars might look like, just because we have to make sure that we have enough officers, or the officers are here to cover summer school. Get the trainings that take place during the summer that we need to do, and still get the right times off. So kind of working through that right now. And department training will take place before school. Since everybody's going to be new to the district, we'll have a lot of extra training to do to get everybody on board, updated on the report writing system and any additional training. Some of these officers that may be coming on are not used to having to do like the education center training because they weren't school district employees, and they will now. So there'll be a lot of that to do. So a lot of work to do in the very beginning. And with that, I will answer any questions you got.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions or comments for Chief Springer? Nope. I know you got a lot of work to do.
That's right.
And you've done a lot. We appreciate you. Thanks, sir. Our last information item is a construction update from Mr. Wes Eversole. Good evening.
Well, good evening, Mr. President. Good evening, Board. Good evening, Dr. Brown. So this evening, I'd love to give you a little construction update. So I'm going to show you some fresh pictures of our construction that's occurring over the high school. And then we're going to kind of dive into, we've got some renderings to show you for some spaces that we have under construction, and then and also talk a little bit about furniture as well. So, okay, so this really hasn't changed much since we've talked last time. August of, this last August we completed the band hall choir renovation, completed phase 2, which is primarily some drives and some civil work. And then we're still on schedule to complete the second phase sometime in July. And so that's completion of the band hall expansion, completion of the performance hall renovation back of the house. We did the front of the house in the initial 2019 renovation. So we're doing the back of the house. We're going to be, once again, renovating the first floor of the 2-story wing at the high school, primarily career and tech classrooms on those 2 floors, or on that first floor, and then completion of a new career and tech building. So we're still on schedule to complete this sometime in July. Okay, this hadn't changed either. Just kind of gives you a feel for what Part A and Part 1, Part 2 of this phase was. We've talked about that several times. That's just been on each one of my presentations. Okay, so this is a career and tech building. I think we took that last weekend. And so at the forefront, you can see that is the ag building. Okay, so what you see up front is where we kind of had that little room that faced the high school. Now that is blocked in, and then the back area is the original ag building. That ag building was built with the original building back in 1998. That's an older roof, vintage 1998, so we're actually recommending replacement of that roof structure. And then in the background, you can see the new build, the new 25,000 square foot career and tech building. Again, those will adjoin each other and be connected. So that was, I guess, yesterday. And so you can see the new CMU to the left. That's facing that's adjoining the ag building. And then you see the structure to the right. That's the Farm Tech part of the building, and they continue to deck the top and continue to put CMU inside. So what you see in the left picture is the columns that will be in the foyer. So that's that will be the opening into this building. So you'll go through a foyer, through a vestibule, through a foyer. You'll go left to fire, EMT, and law, and you'll go right into the remainder part of the building. And then there'll be an awning that will be built, and that's what you see on the right-hand side as well. So on the left-hand side, that is our brand-new ag shop with the 2 openings. On the right, that's Farm Tech, and so you see some CMU kind of upper left-hand corner, that's the CMU's into, separates the restrooms. On the other side of those wall are restrooms, and then we're studying the wall on that far right-hand side, and that will be the separator between the farm tech space and an additional 1,000 square foot classroom space on the other side. And then what you see to the left is what our ag building looks right now. And so that's taken a dramatic change. We've moved out of the ag shop, and so we're cleaning that up and ready for renovation. And what you see on the right-hand side is going into the foyer, and so those are two windows that will open up into the back of the building. You'll see on the right-hand side that will be office space, and on the left-hand side that will be a 8-person meeting space, meeting room space. So that's kind of where we are. We're still we're probably another month or so for being dried in, and we'll feel a lot better when we are dried in, because we're not going to be susceptible to the wind and the rain and the weather. But right now we feel pretty comfortable where we are schedule-wise. So the rest of the presentation, I'm kind of step you through not every space, but a fair amount of spaces with renderings and a furniture plan. So we're going to start off with the training space. And so this is a training room that can accommodate 30 students. And you can see two different colored student desks there. And so to the right, those are nesting desks, nesting tables. So those will be on rollers. They'll be able to nest to create additional space for our trainers to instruct. And on the right-hand side, those are therapy training tables. And so these act as student desks, but they also act as a training table. So you can put a mat over the desks on the left-hand side, which are pictured brown right now, and they can use for 6 training stations, to tape and that type of thing. And so they'll have multi-purpose use. Originally, we had two of these tables drawn into plan, and Ms. Parker really enjoys this option where she can use these desks as student desks, but also as 6 training stations. And then in addition to that, we've got a modular taping system. So there'll be 2 units with 2 seats each that they can train taping ankles and that type of thing. So that's kind of a 3D version, 3D view of her space. You can see the storage we have on the right-hand side, and then they have an office space that overlooks the classroom, which is pictured in the upper left-hand corner. So this is a rendering of the furniture that we're looking at. Throughout, we're looking at a green molded, heavy-duty student chair, and so we're going to be using that throughout for the most part. And then we see the training tables pictured in brown on the left-hand side, and the nesting tables on the right-hand side. And then there's a picture on the top coming really from the teaching wall, looking into the classroom, kind of back towards the hallway between dance and golf and those locker spaces down that hallway. So that's the way you're looking. And then on the bottom, you see a rendering of the office space that we have for 2 people, 2 trainers back there, that overlooks the classroom. And then the computer lab. So this is Ms. Butler's space, information technology and computer repair. And so that's kind of a basic floor plan of this space. There's a 3D plan of this space. So you can see on the left-hand side, that's essentially where her computer lab is right now. And then we're taking in another classroom and making a computer repair spot on the right-hand side. So you can see storage cabinets on the left-hand side, which is inside the classroom. And so students can store their backpacks in those spaces in the classroom. They won't have the need to bring their backpacks into the computer repair space. And what's not pictured here, there's a wall between the classroom and the lab, which will be a window wall. And so this is 3D to a certain extent, but some of the walls are not there, so you can see kind of what's behind the walls. And so you see some storage in the computer lab space on the right-hand side. That will open. You see some windows there will open up into the hallway. And then we have a transaction window on the upper right-hand side for students to bring their computers in for repairs. And that's a rendering of the classroom environment. And then this is several renderings of the lab environment from different angles. And so you see the workstations on the left and the right, and then we have a common workstation in the middle. We have a display station on the kind of the head of the classroom, so that's pictured on the bottom. Picture center, that can be used as a teacher presentation area, but it's the identical tables that we've spec'd in the middle, so they can use that table, roll it right up to those 4 other tables and create a bigger space. Okay, so here's our Ready, Set, Teach space. This is actually two different rooms that are right next to each other. And so that's a 3D plan of the right-hand space. And so this space on the left-hand side is a conventional classroom set up for 30 students, and it's kind of our secondary classroom. So it will be their classroom that's set up as a secondary classroom. And then on the right-hand side, that's set up more as a primary environment. So we have primary furniture, not primary height, but primary furniture, and it's set up as an elementary setting on the right-hand side. And so that's what you're seeing right here, is you're seeing some elementary seating kind of on the right-hand side. You see some storage cabinets. You can see all the built-ins that we have on the far right-hand corner. What you're not seeing is some there's a lot of storage on the upper right-hand side of the primary level. We've got a workspace area, and so we're going to be placing a table in there big enough for 6 up on the right-hand side, and we have built-ins in that workspace. So again, we're looking at the upper right-hand corner of this floor plan, and so you can see that table there. The built-ins aren't set in this actual rendering. Let me see if we've got something. I don't think we do, but this is a look at the elementary setting in this space. We've got a couple more pictures as well. You can see the cabinetry work. You can see that workroom on the left-hand side, peeking into the window. So we've got a variety of views in this space. And then our BIM labs, we're going to be creating 4 BIM labs, Business Information Management labs. And these are pretty much identical. They're going to be set up for 30 students in a pod environment. And so there's a couple renderings of what those will look like. We won't actually have the stands coming up. We have computer screens that will actually be placed on the tables. So it's a little bit different than what's pictured here. But for the most part, this is what they're going to look like. And those will all be set up in a very similar manner. And then our food lab. The food lab is essentially staying where it is right now, but we're adding 1 station. And so we will have 6 stations plus a display station in this space. And then we're actually, in her current classroom's a little bit small, and so we're creeping into, we have a computer lab that is adjacent to the library, which is a pretty good-sized computer lab, so we're actually taking a wall down and expanding this classroom to make it a conventional size classroom to accommodate 30. We're pinching in a little bit into that computer lab, which we have plenty of room to do. So that'll be part of the renovation process. And then there's a 3D view. You can see the classroom on the lower right, essentially in the exact location that she is right now, just expanded a little bit. And then you can see the food lab with 5 tables in the middle, and then the individual setups, the 6 station setups, and then on the kind of upper left-hand area is is the teacher display and teacher workstation. And so we actually have a camera that's going to be affixed to the ceiling that will come down, and we'll have a screen which will be approximately, as she is facing the students from her display station, there'll be a screen on the right-hand side that will come down, and they'll be able to view that display. And so, and then there's a rendering of the furniture looking into the food lab. And there's a couple renderings of the food lab. And so, so each station will have a stove and oven, a dishwasher, and a refrigerator, and a microwave. And so again, one more station we currently have, and it's needed. And so this will be a super nice space right here. And there's another rendering. Okay, engineering lab. So now we're going into the new Career and Tech building and show you what we have visualized for the engineering lab. So there's a 3D view. What you see to the left is a window wall that will overlook, into the outside. So you'll come down a hallway from the foyer. To the left, you'll be able to look into this computer or the engineering lab, and to the right will be a window wall, which will be outside, just to kind of give you a feel for where we are. So we see a lot of storage in this space, not only on the wall storage, but we have storage areas underneath these tables. And so you can kind of see, we see this as a very movable space. So all the tables will be on casters. This will be an environment they can change on a daily basis or even per class. Each table setup will have an easel on wheels, and so so they'll be able to use that for a variety of purposes. You see some storage underneath, mobile storage underneath these tables, and then there's another view. Okay, so that's kind of a mobile teacher station. We do have two computer labs that are right adjacent to this, right off the engineering lab, and so their teacher desks will actually be in their lab, in their computer lab. But this is a little mobile teaching station for them to use. And then on that door on the far right-hand corner on top, that goes into a storage area. They have a big space to store things they need to store outside the classroom. And then this is our Farm Tech rendering, and so you can see the classroom space on the kind of the lower portion of this rendering. You see compounding tables kind of behind them. You see a ton of storage in back. You see a transaction window where you see the 2 mobile chairs. So that's a transaction window replicating a pharmacy with plenty of storage behind them. And this is what we see as far as the furniture in this space as well. So the teaching tables or the student tables will be on casters again, and then those are the compounding tables that are on the lower picture there. And this is our law space, and so that's a rendering of the furniture that we're looking at right now in the setup. These tables are also on casters, and so it can be set up where that's kind of looking towards the back of the space, and so the teaching wall is you can see the teacher station right there to the right. The teaching wall is behind that space, and then we have we can set it up for trial, and that's the judge's bench. So it can be used as a judge and jury, and when they're utilizing this, obviously it's out into the classroom. They rearrange the classroom to set up the juror tables and that type of thing. When they're not instructing, when they're not setting this up as as a courtroom, then those tables will nest and will be placed in that storeroom on the right-hand side that we can move that out. So it's very adjustable space in that as well. So that's kind of our first look at the furniture. We've done a lot of work going through each space and kind of specking out the needs of each individual instructional space. We've met with I think Ms. Avelino and I've met with each teacher maybe 2 or 3 times, maybe 4 times, depending on the circumstances, and so they've had input. And so we've included in your board packet kind of a listing of the furniture. We're still trying to tweak it out, but I think it's mighty close. We're going to still get input from VLK, and Morco is the furniture supplier. So we haven't finalized the color samples, and so these may change a little bit, but that will be done here in the next week or so. And so that's kind of where we are. We've included that in your board packet. We don't think it's gonna change dramatically at all, but we would like to get our colors done here pretty quick, and then go ahead and order in advance of the busy season as far as furniture goes. And so I think if we can get this ordered in the next couple weeks, we won't have any problem getting this in time for installation. And so the cost of the furniture also includes installation, freight, and all that sort of stuff. And we're gonna need some help installing this. We've got a busy 9 weeks in front of us. And so that being said, be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thanks, Wes. Looks good. Any questions or comments from anyone? Mr. Baird?
I noticed a lot of glass in, surrounding and entries and stuff. Are we planning on using that safety film in those areas?
We do have safety precautions. I'm not sure exactly what I'm supposed to.
So we can tell you that it'll be compliant with state regulations, and we can discuss the specifics of the safety plan in closed session next month if you'd like, or I can provide you a confidential update. But it will be compliant with the state requirements.
Very
And
nice.
remember we, in the hallways, especially in the rebuild of the high school, inside the high school, we do have those whiteboards that will close out the windows, for in a safety situation. And so those will slide over in the windows, and I think we've talked about that several times in meetings. And so we do have that component built into this project.
Mm-hmm.
We also will bring you guys back the graphics plan. So this is just the furniture piece. We still owe you the graphics, so the designs and all of that. You guys have toured some of the other facilities, and so we're still working on that with the architects.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
You may have answered some of that, but so how much open space do we still have in that building not being used?
So we've got one space that's about 300 or about 3,000 square feet. In those spaces, it's a little over 1,000 square feet. So in total, 4,000 square feet of space.
Okay.
That
Are,
it's not
well,
built
this
up.
may not be a question for you, but are we, this is a career and tech building. I just want to make sure we're putting some tech in there. I mean, we have pharmacy tech and some other things, but are we exploring any type of trades to add in this building yet? Or?
Yes, ma'am. Mrs. Avellino and I have already started
Okay.
those discussions. Dr. O'Sullivan has been in on those discussions. We have a heavy portion of our CTE program that has a 4-year degree, career and technical education,
Right.
and we're looking at what trades that are either certification trades or directly into the workforce trades that we can add in without losing our enrollment. We have a high percentage enrolled in programs already, and so if we've got to make sure we switch them out for quality things so that we're not just putting kids in things that they don't actually want.
Right.
Because then we're going to end up spending a lot of money on things that don't matter, type of thing. So
Right, and make sure we're spending money on things that kids are really going to go into and that are going to be hired.
that's correct.
Yeah, okay.
One thing I'm remind you is, and I did not show this today because there's not a ton of furniture that's going to go in the space. It's going to be supplied by a furniture supplier, but the ag the ag space as well, right? So we have 15 welding bays that'll be going into that space. We've got compressed air coming down from the ceiling. We've got electrical drops. We have some specialized furniture that we have not quite gotten there yet. Now that does have 2 conventional classrooms, and so that will be furnished as classroom furniture as you've seen here. But the ag shop, we just haven't shown you yet because we're not there.
All right, any other questions or comments? All right, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Next item is our consent agenda. The consent agenda is those routine items that can be handled in one motion, one act. Is there any questions or comments regarding the consent? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve.
Motion to approve by Mr. Smith. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Appleby. Just got to be quicker, buddy. All right, if there's no further questions or comments, all those in favor of approval, please indicate. And that passes unanimous. Thanks. Our next item, since we don't have any action items, are calendar announcements and information items. Dr. Brown.
Yes, sir. You have 2 pages of great opportunities to go see our kids doing great things. A couple of things. One act play is this week. We do have a dyslexia parent night on the 25th, if anyone is interested in attending. And our next Falcon Insider is March the 4th.
All right, thank you very much. It is 7:48. We have no executive items to go over, so we are adjourned.